Hi guys, welcome to Miracosta Filmmaking Podcast. I'm Kim and I'm here with
Tim
and Jessica.
And here we go. So, Stranger Things Season 4 teaser trailer just dropped. What do you guys think?
There's nothing much to the trailer. It just says Stranger Things 4.
Definitely a teaser.
Definitely.
I think there's a lot that people could extrapolate from it, pull a little game theory or film theory and just break down little tidbits. But for me, I've never seen Stranger Things, or at least episodes all the way through, so I really can't say one side or the other, other than it's probably government conspiracy or monster type of level threat, but definitely ominous force vibe. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I got a kick out of it.
Get on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell, dude? Where are you?
Yeah, I think that's also going to help Netflix, though.
Get with the program. So the last season we left off with the Byers family with 11 leaving, what's it called? Where are they from?
I totally forgot the city.
Oh my god. What's wrong with me?
We're fake fans.
Yeah, oh god. Don't tell. They left town to
Hawkins.
start over. Yeah, they left Hawkins to start over, and also we don't know if either Billy or Hopper is dead. But we do know that someone has been captured, sent to Russia, and is being tortured, possibly for information.
Ooh, do you think it'll take place in Russia?
That would be really interesting, actually.
Yeah, because you don't hear a lot about Russian horror.
Yeah, we don't really have a lot of, I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but we don't have a lot of Russian characters or subject matter in movies, I guess. It's mostly either, Nazis and shit like that, but
definitely a big contrast.
We don't really see Russians in movies much.
Especially around the 80s. I mean, you'll usually have a Cold War movie or along that topic, but definitely not during the 80s or 90s.
What did you think about the third season overall, in comparison to the other seasons?
It was such a friggin' rush, man.
Yeah.
It went by so fast, not to mention the fact that I did binge watch the make shit out of the series. I literally watched every single episode except I think the last episode in one day.
Yeah.
I binge watched the whole season in one day because I can and I'm an adult. The power of being over the age of 18.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride though. I'm not gonna lie. So,
I think a problem that I had with the third season was, the fact that the kids, got, older.
Yeah.
And so they kind of, forced them to have, this, teen drama.
Yeah.
And it was, especially in the beginning of the third season, this was kind of, cringeworthy to watch when it was, 11 and Mike, and they were just having this, forced romance.
All the time and stuff.
I didn't care for that at all, but definitely the season got better as it went on.
Yeah. I thought, obviously, when you think about it, though, it is realistic, because obviously the kids are growing up, their hormones are hitting and stuff, and then you can't deny the obvious chemistry between 11 and Mike. So obviously their relationship was bound to happen anyway. So technically it was realistic to portray everyone, the kids growing up, getting into relationships and stuff. But I felt it was also another really great element was Will Byers feeling like he was kind of left out, and he wanted things to go back to normal before all of the events happen. He's still trying to get everyone to play D&D with him and stuff like that.
But they didn't really do much with that. They kind of they started out doing that Will storyline, and then they kind of just abandoned it.
Yeah.
Midway through the season.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of kept touching his neck, and that's pretty much all he was doing.
Yeah, well, that's when he touches his neck or whatever. It's a sign that the monsters are actually still with him, and you know, he's still suffering severe PTSD from it. So obviously that's not gonna go back to normal anytime soon. So I thought that was kind of definitely really good way of keeping us aware that that's still gonna come back to haunt us. You know, it's still there in the back of our minds. Yeah,
definitely playing on the subconscious.
Yeah, really glad that they added they did a lot, even more than the last season with the Billy character. I really got a kick out of that.
It's really kind of rare when you see like genuine character development or like character experience. I'd say that's a little bit more important than character development, because if you're not having the character experience something that the audience can relate to and kind of understand with, like, hey, can you understand that this person will do the same thing in a circumstance that you might do. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's something you can definitely connect with. And I understand why fans have such a following for it, and like hopefully I'll be able to, like, before Christmas or before season 4 drops, I'll be able to catch up.
Yeah.
I think character development is like one of the most important aspects in writing in a TV show. You have to have your characters like progress and
obviously,
stuff. And what bothers me more than anything is when a TV show just adds in new characters instead of just developing the characters they already have. That just annoys me so much. Yeah. It's like, no, don't start adding in new characters. You have like these perfectly good characters here right now that you already introduced us to. Do something with them.
Yeah, it goes back to what we learned this week in last week or whatever in class, is that you want to maintain consistency with a character. Yeah. Obviously you want the character to still be the same character, but you want to show that they have actually grown and changed as a character. You want to portray a proper character arc for that character. Yeah. So, and obviously, another thing is that don't write boring characters. Yeah. No one wants to see a boring character.
And you don't want to have a lopsided cast. Also, that's another important thing. For a character wheel.
Yeah, we went over the character wheel, and then basically you want to have characters that are complete opposites of each other. Whether it's the absolute evil person or the absolute angelic person or whatever. You have someone who's either logical and then someone opposite them who's possibly emotional. So
and like rebel, law follower, that sort, and that also creates a lot. Like it makes it easier to write conflict also, because then they're already at ends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they're naturally opposites of each other, so they're bound to clash. Yeah. So you're bound to have natural conflict.
Yeah, so then you just need an external source to just drive it home.
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite character on Stranger Things?
God, favorite character. I got possibly Hopper.
Hopper?
Yeah, I think he's...
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, David Arbor is just fantastic. He really blew up with this role and stuff. I just think it's a really fantastic role, especially for him. He's done a really wonderful and beautiful job with it. I really loved his arc, where not just his backstory, but the way he developed this character, where we find out that, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, or maybe you might want to just fuck off for a little bit, but yeah, we find out why he's just kind of like not giving a fuck, in the sense that basically his family was destroyed. His daughter died of cancer, and then his wife left or whatever, and we with the introduction of 11 and over the course of the first and maybe the second seasons, we find Hopper trying to make up for not being able to save his first child by trying to save another child, which something that really, really, like, the moment it happened in the third season that, like, kind of made me tear up a little bit was the moment where he is giving Mike a ride home after Mike and 11 were hanging out again for like the millionth time in a row. All they're doing is like making out or whatever. And Hopper automatically says basically he ends up calling 11 his daughter. That's something that like I'm like, oh my god. I thought it was really sweet that Hopper just automatically takes responsibility for 11. We see it obviously at the end of season 2.
Yeah, and I love that in season 2.
Yeah,
the whole story arc.
The first season, the first episode in season 2, we find out that Hopper has found and is taking care of 11. So he's basically her guardian. And then over the course of the season, he grows attached to her, and they're attached to each other, and they have a very father-daughter dynamic. And it's really fascinating. It's really touching, especially since Hopper says the line of, "If you're going to date my daughter, we're gonna have to have some rules and stuff." He automatically steps into the role of her father.
Yeah.
And towards the last episode of the third season, he writes that letter to 11. And she's just absolutely heartbroken and devastated, but basically we get the vibe that, yeah, she definitely feels like he's her father. And I thought that was a really, really wonderful development of not just these two characters, but their arc together. So I just really love that.
Yeah.
I do think that each character, like from what I'm hearing, are coping with their own, like, you know, internal demons as opposed to what they faced.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My favorite character has to be 11 because like every single time she's on screen, like something cool is gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's like all the scenes with her, like whenever she just goes like batshit crazy and starts using her powers and her nose is like bleeding, and it's just like it's always entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I really thought that the scenes where, in the third season, where 11 goes to Mac? Is that her name?
I think her name's Max.
Max, yeah, where 11 is sensing that Mike's acting different. This is after Hopper basically kind of threatens him. She goes to Max, and they end up having like a really, really great girl bonding time. So I just really love that, especially because I was really hoping that she and Max, those two characters, were not going to be those kind of like jealous, clashing girls or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm really, really glad that they got to bond together.
Yeah, I really like that scene though. I think it was in season 2. Where she thought that, like, Mike and Max were, like, flirting with each other, and then she made her, like, fall over on her skateboard. Yeah. Like, I love, like, those little moments that 11 has where she's just, like, so pissed off that she, like...
Yeah.
She just, like, throws a tantrum, or she just, like, gets, like, angry, and she abuses her powers.
Yeah, so Max and 11's development, I loved those scenes where they're just being girls, and it's in the 80s, and they're trying on all these really wild 80s colored clothes,
and they're playing Material Girl in the background.
Oh my god, I loved it. Oh, I love that scene so much. It's so cute.
Yeah, the soundtrack to like certain like shows and movies can just make or break just certain scenes for me.
Oh yeah. I have to say, I really love that it's set in the 80s. I just think it's really cool. Yeah. I think that's actually kind of, not big, but certain movies are kind of doing that right now, is kind of setting it in a, not obvious, it's not really a period piece because it's still in like...
It's vague.
Yeah.
Like that's what Joker was.
Joker was set in, I don't know, 70s to 80s.
Yeah.
So, a lot of movies are, well, not a lot, but some movies are currently being set in, like, the 80s, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which I got a kick out of it. I think the 80s was a really great decade as far as like movies and music and certain like
Culture.
kind of pop culture stuff was. So, but yeah, I got a kick out of that.
I don't know. Do you guys have like a favorite season of the show? Well, I don't know if you haven't watched it.
Is there is it one of those series where there's a specific order that you have to watch, or can you just watch one?
You just have season 1, season 2, season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that Black Mirror bullshit where everything's out of order and just all fuck up a tree.
That's so confusing. For me, I'd want to start with one. Hopefully, I'll be able to watch at least a little bit before the next podcast, but just just have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. So, next topic.
Yeah.
So, what are some movie musicals that are coming out?
Mean and Green. It's Little Shop of Horrors.
Mean and Green, Little Shop of Horrors, Wicked. Cats. Oh God, please for the love of God. So, okay, Cats. I'm not gonna lie.
Terrifying.
Movie. The movie trailer. Horrifying. The musical itself, I grew up with this musical. I love the musical. I think it's fantastic. And I honestly would have preferred if they had actually done the costuming exactly as they've done on the musical. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, now that I've seen how horrifying that trailer is, like, I want to actually go and see, like, the original musical now.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone would like to watch the original musical of Cats, I would definitely do I think it's the original Broadway recording of Cats, the musical.
So do they have that on like DVD?
Yeah. That's actually like the first DVD movie version of the musical itself.
Right.
So,
I need to see that.
Yeah, the original one.
I wonder, actually, like, because it's such a visual, like, controversy, I wonder how people who, either have, like, trouble seeing or, like, I wonder how those who are kind of visually impaired, how they would view it differently. So if they actually went in and they listened to, most of the movie, how would they actually, like, would you judge it by the songs and the character, interactions based on that? I mean, is it just a visual aspect, or is it just the characters?
Like if someone was blind and they didn't see the terrifying CGI, and they just listened to the songs.
Like, what if the songs are actually really good? Like,
oh, they are.
It's with the cast also. I mean that too, because you can have like certain like adaptations, but
yeah, the Cats. The musical Cats, however, for example, is a very, very wonderful and beautiful musical. Mm-hmm. It's really fantastic. It's got a lot of really wonderful characters, wonderful, colorful characters, and the songs are just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Really beautiful powerhouse ballads and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those ones to at least watch for it. Did we say West Side Story?
Yeah, West Side Story is going to be made into one. One recently that came out that I was kind of like iffy on because I think they kind of definitely went for more star power instead of actual talent, which is most movie musicals or whatever. But came out a couple years back. They did Into the Woods, which I would definitely, of course, recommend highly above anything else, even above the movie that came out, the official original Broadway cast recording of Into the Woods, starring Joanna Gleason, Chip Zien, and Bernadette Peters. I would definitely recommend people watch that one first and foremost, because that one is just perfect in every way. Costuming, casting, especially casting, just every person in that show is phenomenal.
Are you familiar with, I haven't personally seen it, but the Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? Mm-hmm. That one's also getting an adaptation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. I really loved the older one starring Donny Osmond.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really beautiful, beautiful one. Yeah, that was that Joseph or was that?
Yeah, Joseph and his amazing Technicolor.
God, I loved that movie because that was very much shot it's a movie, but it was very much shot like a musical.
Yeah, a play format or a musical.
Yeah. Oh, it's just phenomenal. Maria Friedman plays the narrator, and she's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, I got to see a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in San Diego 2 years ago, I think. It was just beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
Yeah, I like the top 3 ones I want to like see like play wise would be like Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
Like the Joseph and the Dreamcoat, and like previously I would have said Cabin in the Woods, but I kind of just want to see Wicked just to see how people are getting at that. Like I've heard just good things all around. It's one of those ones where I don't hear bad things.
Oh yeah. Wicked is just phenomenal. I saw it, and I talked about it with Jessica a few weeks back on a podcast, and I saw it back, I think in February or December, with my mom at the San Diego Civic Theater, and Jackie Burns played the role of Elphaba. And oh my God, she's just a beast and a powerhouse of a voice. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely recommend anyone see it. If you ever have the chance to see Wicked the musical, please absolutely do it. You will not regret it.
Would you recommend seeing it before the movie comes out?
Oh yeah, absolutely, hands down. Idina Menzel originated the role of Elphaba, and Kristen Chenoweth originated the role of Glinda, and Joel Grey originated the role of the Wizard, all for the original Broadway cast of Wicked. And they're amazeballs.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's interesting about, specifically Oz, like the whole topic in general, is that is probably for some people, like the Wizard of Oz, like seen as like, probably not nowadays as much, but like the best movie. Like, there's Gone with the Wind, there's what's the World War II movie where it's...
There's a lot of World War II movies, dude. Be more specific.
It was released around the same era. It's like, Here's Looking at You, Kid.
Casablanca?
Casablanca, yeah. That like those movies are held at like such a high regard.
They're classics.
That I think if you were to try to tap into that at all, and it's not like as amazing as people experienced it, then it's just going to be okay. Like, there was the Oz the Great and Powerful movie that came out a while back, and I don't think it was bad.
God, it was horrendous. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I thought it was absolutely horrendous. I saw it with one of my guy friends or whatever, and I'm like sitting there cringing the whole time. Oh my God, it was just so bad.
Like formatting wise, like okay, you know when a movie has like hiccups and plot holes and like certain just errors that don't work well.
Yeah.
Like I saw that, and I tried to also look past that, and I didn't see anything. What I mean by it's not bad, I mean that there's nothing that straight out offended me. But then I'd say like there's nothing that drew me in either. I mean, it was nice to see like actual places in the books that you don't see. Like they go to the land of China and stuff, but that's decimated and everything. But I mean, it's just kind of odd. But, yeah.
So real quick, what about the reverse? Some movies should not be adapted into plays. For example, at California Adventure, Disneyland's neighbor park, they did Aladdin for the longest time, and that was absolutely amazing.
And The Lion King.
Yeah. So first off, they ended up taking out and retiring the musical Aladdin over at California Adventure, and then they ended up doing Frozen, the musical.
And didn't they also do Finding Nemo, the musical?
I think so, but...
that's on ice.
Yeah, so real quick, Frozen. I saw it with my brother, because my brother, we had Disneyland passes at the time. So we could go to Disneyland and California Adventure, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the first week that Frozen was playing, at California Adventure. I think it was like it was literally the first week that Frozen opened. My brother and I saw it, and I just did not like it. I thought that this, like, certain things, even from, like, certain costume changes, like, for example, the part where Elsa, the character, is singing Let It Go, and then there's that costume switch where she goes from her queen garb to her ice dress. And then basically how this costume is set up for the live version is that it's a literal, like, inside out costume to where folded up and position or set on the actual person's body in a specific way. The dress part kind of it looked big and bulky. She looked like a bodybuilder, for example.
Yeah.
But when she actually, like, I don't know, pulls a string or switcheroo, the dress falls down to reveal the ice version of the dress or whatever. I just thought that was interesting, but I still couldn't get over the fact that she looked like a bodybuilder before the costume change, before the switch. Yeah. So there were certain other scenes that I was just not happy about. I don't know. I just think that Frozen, for example, I don't think it should be adapted into a live action play because the movie itself was just so phenomenal.
Well, and the two problems...
And not only that, real quick, but there's so much in that movie. That's a long movie.
It is.
Yeah, so there's so much detail and stuff. And I kind of, like... Not only that, I was kind of already getting burnt out on the Frozen hype as well.
Right when Coco came out and they had to release that special is when the Frozen hype died out. And it wasn't until, I think, that Wreck-It Ralph 2 at the end when they teased it did it come back. But it was really pushed a bit too far. But in terms of, like, musicals too, it's all about delivery. If you're having one bad actor in a musical, you're pretty much going to have a bad movie.
Yeah, and not only that, but, like, certain hiccups, I can't remember all of them, but my brother and I were talking about the Frozen musical at the time, especially when it first opened. Like, dude, this is fucking Disney. They're beyond loaded. You think that with so much money, and yes, they have so much fucking money, you'd think that they would do everything they absolutely could to make sure that this play, for example, is top notch, like even better than Broadway.
Well, that's the big problem that they're having now with Star Wars and like all their most of their merchandise and stuff. Regardless of the film, one of the big controversies was whether or not they would like start licensing out other things to other companies because have you ever heard about the was it May was the other girl in the Force Awakens or like
Rey?
Yeah, Rey. Wait, no, not Rey.
The actress or
no, it was the other it was the other person in The Last Jedi. That's what it was.
Oh, that Asian girl?
Yeah.
Oh, Rose.
Like her. Rose. Like I'm sorry, but I have been to stores where there are nothing but aisles of those, like, either toys and stuff of just hey everybody, it's Rose, and they have like 300 of those in like one aisle where there was Star Wars stuff and that's the only thing left. And it's one of those things where marketing wise you could pack it in or something like that, but tying it back into place, when you don't market a character right, it can really hurt the production overall. Like if we're tying this back to, like, you know, the, like, let's just say, like, Little Shop of Horrors, if they just have a big actor, like, Dwayne Johnson's the, you know, next lead, that's not it, but if they just, you know, have him in there and just try to sell it off based the actor and then, you know, the movie doesn't do well, are they going to still keep pushing the merchandise based on the actor? That's my concern, whether or not, because if they just make the, you know, products first and then the movie second, that's really detrimental if the actor or performer isn't that well.
Yeah, and especially, like, I've heard of a couple instances where people have Disney or certain other toy-focused brands or whatever had released figurines of upcoming movies, and they're not supposed to because that's a huge spoiler alert as well.
That's actually like pretty funny because they have actually spoiled every Transformers by just releasing the toys early.
Oh yeah.
And they also spoiled the Dawn of Justice by doing that also, the Batman vs Superman movie.
Oh yeah.
That was so ridiculous. I saw commercials of that, and it's like, here's Batman with the kryptonite spear and everything like that, and it's just like,
they should make merchandise of characters and stuff if that movie turns out to be successful and people like those characters.
Yeah, and that's what made Jurassic Park and like all the like Spielberg movies great, was he didn't go in making like Jaws hats before the movie came out, or oh man, when I saw Jurassic World and there was all this merchandise before like the movie was big and stuff like coming out, and I just kind of knew that some would like it, some wouldn't.
Yeah, I really loved the Jurassic World. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah,
I felt like that way about the merchandise for Toy Story 4. Like, personally, like I'm probably gonna get like hate for this, but I don't think Toy Story 4 was that great.
The hype.
Yeah, well, there was so much hype for it, and it wasn't as good as the first three.
Is this the one that just recently came out?
Yeah, just recently came out.
I really loved it.
And there was but there was just like so much merchandise for it. They were really like pushing all the toys, and I'm like,
well, Sporky. I mean, like you see, like they're trying to sell you a spork, and they can do. Pixar dropped Souls. Did you see that?
Pixar what?
So they dropped a new trailer for a movie.
Oh,
Souls.
yes! Oh my god! It's obviously a teaser trailer, but I'm just like...
It's like Inside Out, but with death.
Yeah. So immediately, if you haven't seen the teaser trailer, just pause this and then open another tab, bring up YouTube, just look at the teaser trailer. So immediately in the trailer, like first couple seconds in, the guy is like on his way to get a new job that he really loves and stuff, and suddenly, boom, falls down a sewer drain. Mm-hmm. That, just not even the second frame after he drops down the chute, I'm just like, Pixar just killed its character in like who knows how many seconds into this fucking movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, like the hype that this character is set out to make his life better and follow his dreams, and then boom, you kill him on the spot. That immediately kind of like hit me in the heart right there.
And like
it's like just even just based on that, this is gonna make you cry your eyes out.
Like this is from the same people who did Inside Out and Coco.
Exactly,
so
that's exactly what I'm talking about, because Inside Out was just huge in my opinion, especially in the last couple years. Back spring semester, I took a film history class, I think. History of film or whatever. And then we watched Inside Out, and it's been a couple years since I'd watched this movie, and I obviously learned a few things, especially about basically just emotions and how you handle them. Basically being emotionally literate. So just identifying and accepting your emotions and processing your emotions and stuff. And watching this movie, Inside Out, kind of really hit me really hard, because I feel like this could be a hugely beneficial tool, not just for children when teaching them about how to identify and process their emotions.
That movie was like really complex for a kids movie. Like the psychology that went into it was like really deep.
It can really help kids especially to become aware of their emotions and to realize that their emotions, all of them, especially the bad ones, are completely natural and completely normal. And then this could actually help not just kids but people in general get a sense of like what their emotions mean, and not only that, but for people to accept the fact that you need all of them. You need all of the emotions,
to stabilize yourself, or else you go nuts.
Yeah. It's kind of makes me think of Carl Jung and the integration of the shadow, where if once you finally properly integrated your shadow self, you'll become a more whole person.
Right.
You know, so once you properly, for example, integrate all of your emotions, you'll become much more whole, and you'll be much more emotionally literate and possibly self-aware.
I just wonder, like, because personally, I like the art style in that movie. Like, in the trailer, when it first dropped for Souls.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I was like, you know what? This is actually, like, you know, Pixar is dealing with humans this time. Like, you know, they dealt with, in Inside Out, they dealt with, you know, feelings, and then for Coco, they dealt with, you know, people at first, but then, you know, they dealt with the land of the dead, and that was fine too. But, like, I was
not only that, real quick, I really loved that they did the Mexican culture of the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. I thought that was a really, really
accurate,
beautiful culture to do a movie about. It's so beautiful.
And they've had, like, other animated movies before that have tried to, like, portray that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember what they're called, but I think Coco did it the best.
And
I'm really happy that they're doing different kinds of culture for, like, Moana and the Pacific Islander kind of culture and stuff like that. And then the Mexican culture, you know, I just really love, for example, how important death is to them, and how they deal with it, and how very special it is to remember the ones that you loved and lost.
Well, and that's what makes, like, I was a little bit shocked with Souls for a moment. Like, they're going to deal with afterlife. Like,
they're going to deal with death in general.
Well, like, so many religions deal with just afterlife, to where, you know, they, in the ballpark, could try to say, like, hey, here's a new religion, and here's a new belief. When you die, this is what happens.
Yeah.
And for me, I just hope that they have some integrity to it, like, handling it in that sense. And, you know, for apparently kids movie, or, like, you know, for me, I wonder what the audience is. Yeah. Because you're having this adult jazz, was it jazz? Or soul singer.
Jazz and soul.
Pianist. And that's, like, a little bit of a kind of highbrow concept. You know, musically wise, you can draw people in, you can have people understand. But, like, to connect with, you know, specifically if you're targeting kids first and then adults later, that would be a little bit hard to kind of, you know, draw kids into. But if it turns out to be one of those, like, self-discovery or quest movies, or I'm just guessing it's like you're taking the emotions from Inside Out, turning them into, you know, soul people, and then you're going to have the adventure of Coco. That's what I think the movie's going to be.
Yeah, so the synopsis on IMDb for Soul, the movie, is a musician who has lost his passion for music is transported out of his body and must find his way back with the help of an infant soul learning about herself. So maybe he isn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
This is something that kind of, like, personally kind of hits me close to the heart, is because it's one of those movies where it seems off the bat it's like you're kind of losing your passion for certain things that you love.
When is this movie coming out?
2020? Next year?
Yeah, 2020?
Yeah, next year.
June 19th, 2020.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this definitely off the bat seems like a journey of self-discovery, which in my life right now, I'm actually trying to find out what I'm passionate about, or trying to reinvigorate and rediscover my passion for certain things that I feel like I've kind of lost sight of, like my goals and dreams that I've lost sight of in the last couple years. And I think that this could be really, really wonderful.
Yeah, and, like, one of the important things too is you can for movies, they can either make you feel or understand what a person feels.
Yeah.
And, like, with that, you can either grow or you can re-examine aspects of your life. And I would say, you know, for you personally, and also for, you know, movies in general, it's about how you structure, how you organize it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and for a lot of people, and why a lot of movies don't do well, is they just tend to focus on one aspect as much, and they just get the others wrong. They just flat out mismanagement.
Yeah. True stories, yeah. So there's a few movies coming out that are based off of true stories. There's Richard Jewell coming out, and then there's Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I personally know nothing about the Richard Jewell story. Tim, Jessica, do you guys know anything about that?
I have no idea.
So what pretty much happened is, and I only saw a little bit of the trailer, but what happened is this guy, like, you know, he picks up the phone and here's this, like, I pretty much he stops a bombing, and people think he did it.
Yeah,
and
okay.
they thinking he's just doing this for fame and all this stuff, and it's ruining his reputation. And he just did to kind of save lives from, you know, the story and stuff. I'm not very familiar with the events, but like he's being interrogated by like two sides, and that's what really I think is going to make this movie is he's being interrogated by the FBI or CIA, and he's being interrogated by the news. And I think they're going to drive in the news aspect more because, you know, there are a lot of pieces on, you know, police brutalities or on, you know, injustices or unequal treatment. But I think they're going to focus more on the news aspect of it, of just like,
and how possibly the news kind of blows things out of proportion.
Yeah, exactly. And how, like, you know, misinformation can spread like wildfires.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be like a very... I wonder what critics are going to say about it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm really...
honesty.
Yeah, I just pulled it up on IMDb.com right now. And first off, how I know that this is probably going to be an amazing movie right off the bat, Clint Eastwood directed it. So I personally, I don't think I've seen a bad movie that Clint Eastwood directed. I just think he's fucking amazing.
Did you see The Mule?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh man, that was trippy. It was kind of scary because obviously Clint Eastwood's, he's what, in his 70s or 80s or something.
Gosh, like
so right off the bat, he plays this character where like you can see visually that he seems like he's a man, and then Clint Eastwood off the bat, he's like a man's man, but obviously he's aging and looking a little frail in the movie. He plays a character that kind of looks really frail. So the fact that he gets mixed up with very dangerous, dark, shady as fuck characters kind of makes you right off the bat kind of care for the guy or fear for his safety and stuff. So that kind of really helped me like the character, and I just thought the character itself, he was pretty funny. He was one of those characters where if I remember correctly, could be offensive, but didn't really know. But he was still a nice guy.
Yeah.
Little bit of a selfish side or whatever. But I got a kick out of that character that Clint played.
Yeah, and definitely in most of his works, he just tends to have, like, especially when he's in it. I didn't see him at all in the trailer for Jewel, but I do think that he's going to like put a spin on it, if that makes any sense. Like he's gonna, I think he's gonna like show the police side in interrogations more in the trailers, and then he's just gonna like the movie's gonna drop, and we're gonna see like a bunch from the media, just like, you know, like I just really want to see what other people think of it. That's what I want to see, because for true story movies, you don't really have, because it is a little bit of a controversial issue. That's the other thing too.
Obviously, yeah, absolutely. So with the Richard Jewell movie, right off the bat, Paul Walter Hauser, he plays Richard Jewell himself, and then really amazing talent. Kathy Bates is in it. John Hamm is in it, Olivia Wilde is in it, and Sam Rockwell is in it. This is probably going to be a really phenomenal movie. I can just tell, just because of the who's directing it and who's starring in it. I mean, I know that probably sounds biased, and it's probably one of those, like, I don't know, I'm probably basing it just off of the star power alone, but when it comes down to it, these are some really powerful and talented actors and directors and stuff. So
and good track records too. I mean, that's
exactly. Yeah.
That was one of the problems with Dumbo, like why that one didn't do as well was because some people were really turned off by the last couple of movies he made, and
Tim Burton.
Yeah, and even still, like that was another one where some people really didn't like the direction of it.
Yeah, they were too eccentric.
Yeah.
A little too eccentric and too colorful. Although, I did like Dumbo. There was just one casting that I really didn't like because this person was just, they can give Kristen Stewart a run for their money. So I thought the person was completely flat and dead, same expression the entire movie. I did not care for this person at all. There were, and I'm not going to say who it was. It wasn't Colin Farrell. I really loved him in it. But one of the actors in it I just was not a fan of. But the thing is that they haven't had much experience, so they're a very new actor. So obviously this might be one of the first couple movies that they've ever done. So obviously they're probably gonna have to like do more movies so they can become a better actor and stuff. So.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, okay, let's to segue back to True Stories. The is it Won't You Be My Neighbor, or is it just the Mr. What's the name of the movie again with Mr. Rogers?
Hold on, because Tom Hanks is starring as Mr. Rogers.
And the reason why I bring that up is he has such an immense amount of experience to where
he's got such a great fucking track record.
He really does. And like the main reason I bring that up is he personally, when you're first seeing the trailer for the first time, he doesn't really look that much like him.
Oh,
like
no, not at all.
Yeah, it almost looks like a miscasting, but the mannerisms are right. And I feel that if you have a good actor, that's the other thing about adaptations is adaptations can be great if they capture the character that they're performing.
The actual person, so it's A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and he stars as Fred Rogers. So what you were saying about, it's okay if the actor themselves doesn't actually look like the person. And a perfect example of that was Michael Fassbender as, he played Apple Dude.
Oh, Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs. He played, Steve Jobs. He doesn't look like Steve Jobs. But I guess in certain, Steve Jobs, I think in certain facial expressions, I guess, mixed with his costuming, character design or whatever, he could have. But he did a really fantastic of capturing Steve Jobs as he was in real life.
He actually did a little bit of method acting for that. He went on the same diet that Jobs did, and that actually got him into the hospital ward because he had a kidney stone or something like that because of the actual amount of carrot juice and drinks and all the different things that Jobs was taking. It's kind of one of those things where that probably made his condition worse or really overall, whenever you see method acting, it is a little bit of a slippery slope.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think, was I talking to you where you need someone else there with you, like a director and stuff?
That was the other day in class. You need someone to, help rein you back and help bring you back.
Because that was...
So you don't get completely sucked in.
Exactly.
And you said that's what happened with Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Heath Ledger, he was kind of unhinged and would lock himself away. The contrast of that, though, would be Jim Carrey. I'd say he went, in all honesty, performance-wise, beyond Ledger. And he was, there was that documentary about, was it Andy or just
Andy Kaufman?
About Andy Kaufman and how he went full on nuts doing all these pranks and outbursts and all this stuff, and the directors were at their wits' end. But personally, I think without their help, that movie would not have lasted. Like, if you had gone to another director or something like that, they would have just gone nuts.
Yeah. We good on that one then? Yeah. What do you think about alternate endings? Are there any movies or whatever that stick out to you, or?
There's 4 big ones that do, but I know there's a ton of movies that do it.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just can't think of them. Like, there's Clue, there's Little Shop of Horrors, there's Ash vs. the Evil Dead 2, which apparently had like a director's cut. And then you brought up Blade Runner, but personally, none are coming to mind that really like kind of drive it home. I guess Clue, because it had, I guess, different theater releases. There's also apparently going to be that cut of Dawn of Justice, or the Batman vs. Superman movie that's going to be out probably soon. It's hard to tell, but for these alternate endings or director's cut movies, it really is taste. Like, which do you prefer?
Yeah. So, after credit scenes, those completely flip the ending on its head, depending on what you do.
Oh, Clerks.
Whether or not the after credit scene or whatever actually sets up a sequel, or is just a little tidbit. Like, for example,
they usually have those in Pixar movies.
Yeah, they have them at they had some of them for the Harry Potter movies. Like, for example, towards the end of at the end of I think it was Chamber of Secrets, we see a cut scene for the after credits where I think it's of Gilderoy Lockhart in St. Mungo's, and he's or maybe it's Gilderoy Lockhart on the cover of a new book asking people, "Do you know who I am?" or something, and it shows the effects that he's been obliviated and have his memory wiped or whatever. And I just thought that was really I kind of like stuff like that, where maybe it's not setting up for a sequel, but it's just like a little extra exposition or whatever at the end of the movie. Maybe kind of not tying up a loose end or showing you a little extra about something that happened in the movie. I get a kick out of those.
Yeah. Like, going back a little bit to the alternate endings, I forgot about 3 really big ones that, like, they changed the meaning of the, like, movie pretty much.
Yeah.
But did you ever see Dr. Strangelove, How I Stopped Worrying, and,
Not in years.
So, pretty much, like, there's a scene at it's the ending where I forget what it is, like, the cowboy American is gonna drop the bomb on the Russian village for retaliation. But before that, there was pretty much like a cut ending where instead of like discussing it and the different leaders of the world like working together, they just start throwing pies at each other. And there's a couple other like weird like movies, like I Am Legend had a completely different ending where instead of like Will Smith's character sacrificing himself to save the mother and daughter.
Yeah.
There's like apparently like the creatures just wanted their own kind back, and it's like a whole different message.
It completely changes the movie.
Yeah. Also Clerks, because at the very end of Clerks, like the 2 guys they fight, and then they leave. They do the that type of friend breakup type of thing at the end.
Yeah.
But in the other version, that still happens, but then a guy comes in. Shoots. Oh, who was the other guy?
Someone dies. Was it the place gets robbed and someone gets shot?
Yeah, the guy who's remaining just dies, and the store's getting robbed, and it's from the perspective of a clerk, that makes I'd say that makes more sense as a storyline, because it's like and you go through life, and then you just stand there, someone robs the store, and you die, and it's pretty powerful. Yeah, alternate endings can change the movie entirely.
Yeah. I think one thing about alternate endings and or post-credit scenes or whatever. Something that drives me nuts about them are if the movie ends up being crap and then they try to do something to set up a sequel. Like, for example,
Universal.
Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah. They do the whole fucking... They completely fuck up Deadpool.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then they do that stupid fucking after-credit scene where it's just of Deadpool's chopped off head and he just opens his eyes. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my god, he survived. What'd he fucking do? Not to... So, well, basically, the movie was just crap in general. And then that stupid potential cash cow grabbing moment to set it up for a sequel. Like, really? All right, go fuck yourself, dude. Seriously, you think that movie's that good to set up for a sequel? First off, the studios should have realized that in the first place because they fucked it up anyway.
There are so many movies that just try to do too much and they end up just
they try to be badass or something.
Like one of didn't Dark Phoenix like lose a ton of money or it just didn't make it back?
Flopped as well.
Like X-Men has really been on a downhill slope.
They just need to like kill it and put it out of its misery and just not touch it for a couple fucking years. Yeah. Not to mention, I think the newest Hellboy completely tanked recently because of I think mostly studio interference, which and not only that, I've heard that just too much obnoxious action violence or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like it just got obnoxious and it was just terrible, which honestly, I think with the cast that they had, and especially for David Arbor as Hellboy, I think they could have had something really fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie though, I am one of the fans of the original movies with Ron Perlman and Selma Blair and stuff, and directed by Guillermo del Toro. I really was hoping to see a third one with that same cast and Guillermo. But I was totally open to a new Hellboy, especially when I heard that David Arbor was the new Hellboy, because I really love David Arbor. I think he was going to be a fantastic Hellboy. I just think the studio once again walks in, fucks shit up, and walks out, and then studio just needs to. They just need to learn how to fuck off.
Well, and you look at Pixar and how they handle. So did you know that before Toy Story 2 became a hit, they had like pretty much every sequel that there were. They had a Monsters 2 in development. They had Finding Nemo 2. They had a Toy Story 3 also planned for like pretty much directed, DVD, VHS.
Really?
Yeah, they had those stories. But then when Disney bought them, rather than meddling and saying, okay, you have to make those stories, now you have to do them and things like that, they said, okay, you do what you need to make money. And then they cancel them. They cancel the projects, and then they start to work on other. They did do Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
But they did Toy Story 2, and they became a real hit. But when Disney just kind of did hands off, management, it really showed how competent Pixar was. It really did, because then pretty much every success they were having, it was theirs. It wasn't necessarily Disney buying them and then fixing a couple of flaws with the movies and stuff. No, they just let them do what they were doing, and it really paid off for them in the end.
Yeah, so they got to have like their own creative control over everything.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's really frustrating when studios hire really, really great, talented people, and they still with also really great track records as well.
Yes.
And then they still don't trust the person to do their jobs.
Oh,
And they keep interfering. It's like, you've hired these people for a reason. Fuck the fuck off and just let them do their job.
Well, and if it's that they're inconsistent also. That's the other thing too many chefs. And the thing about the expression too many chefs, it's not when you're having too many people making a recipe. You could have 20 people making a recipe if you're all making it at the same pace, because you know who did what, who put in what, and saw that a person put in, salt, you're not going to put it in. Yeah. If you're coming in and it's like, hey, I'm the new chef.
It's like changing the recipe, just scrapping all the entire recipe
and you don't
then
know
just redoing it.
The other person did. That's the most dangerous part. Is if you're trying to let's say you recast someone after they did all their lines.
Yeah.
You're pretty much, whenever a studio meddles, it just raises the cost.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
And and it's an automatic warning flag that if you have studio interference, this movie is probably not gonna fly.
Now the two examples I would say where that is fair for studio to meddle is when they get a screening of the movie and it doesn't meet their standards, almost finished or like halfway through development. Or when a director really does something, because who was the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy?
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn. That I could see why they fired him for his comments in the past and things like that. But even still, didn't they hire him back?
I don't know. I think they may have.
Yeah, I think I think they fired him. He got a job working on the next Suicide Squad movie. That's what it was. He was working on the next Suicide Squad movie, and then because of him being popular again, they hired him back to do Guardians 3. Yeah, Guardians 3, and I just say it depends on kind of those two contexts for Stu to really be fair meddling. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that was the Miracosta Filmmakers podcast. We're going to wrap it up now, and we will see you guys next, Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Monday. Yeah, so I'm Kim.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Tim.
And we will see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys.